of the most powerful things as a physician you can do is do something called locum tenens. The current situation most physicians face is they're stuck in a physical clinic, they're stuck in a hospital, abiding by other people's schedules and times, and it's interfering with their personal life and their professional life. It's reducing their ability to travel, to schedule events, trips, passions, races, whatever else they want to do. So I want to really break down how locum tenens can give you the location and time freedom you want so you can still practice medicine, but it's on your terms. Let's go. So initially in the history of locum tenens, which will start in the 1970s, it was felt that this is a solution for people who are lower quality physicians. And it got a bad rap. And maybe physicians who are at the end of their rope, end of their tenure, right? But truthfully, it's really a new way of practicing medicine. And it's freeing, it reinvigorates you, it allows you to see the world, allows you to see different locations, and you are in charge. You go back from being a victim back to being a victor, and that's why I like it. You have freedom, you have free time, you have flexibility, you have higher income, and career fulfillment. So why not try it? The word locum tenens initially means, essentially holding the place of. So you're a physician, maybe the physician's on a extended vacation, you're taking their place, or there's a shortage of physicians in a location and you're filling in the gap. And so that's where it initially came from. But it is really becoming one of the most powerful things you can do as a physician to sort of jumpstart, reignite, or extend your medical career. So there are three types of doctors who do locum tenens work. One is new graduates. They want to test out different locations. They want to think about, do they want to work in a hospital? They want to work in a clinic, and it's without risk because you can go there and sort of experiment, test drive for 3 months, 6 months, even a year. I'll give you an example. When I finished cardiology fellowship, my first job was a locum tenens position. It was amazing. I got to work in the island of Hawaii. I was recently married. I had a young one, and I chose to do a 4-month locum position in Hawaii, and it was absolutely amazing. It was one of the best times I ever had. They paid me essentially a year 4 salary in my first, month of becoming an attending. They provided me a car. They provided me a luxury condo in the middle of Waikiki. I was working, reasonable hours, and the cool thing was I was working on Honolulu, Oahu, and on Wednesdays they needed me to go to the Big Island to run a pacemaker clinic. So they paid for my flight in the morning to go on Hawaiian Airlines, and I had to go hang out and run this cool clinic on Kona or Hilo, depending on which week it was. And then I got to come back that afternoon or evening. That was my commute. And it was one of the best times. My wife who's a rheumatologist, was taking her time off. She was spending time with the baby. She was walking on the beaches. On the weekends, we go to the farmer's market, which is very famous in Oahu. We'd hang out with friends or family who were visiting. I got paid well. I was respected by my patients. And I had to pitch myself, hey, why am I going back to the mainland again? Remarkable experience. And so I highly recommend things like this. Some of my coaching clients, after they've been beat up by the hospitals and pushed down by their clinics and by the private practices, they've started exploring locums. And what they've noticed is, they're able to achieve, a year 5 or year 6 salary in year 1. They're able to, a lot of them are doing things on the side. They're doing side hustle, for example. One of them has a short-term rental they've launched. And now he has so much more free time during his cardiology shifts that he's able to work on all this, and he's getting paid for it. But but you're spending time away from your family. That is true. But the cool thing is, when you're away, and you're hopefully highly productive. But you can set it to where maybe you work 1 week on, 2 weeks off, or 1 week on, 1 week off. And that week off, you're really there at home, present, fully engaged with your family. So it is a little bit of a change, a little bit of a sacrifice, if you will, but think about the exchange, think about the outcomes. Now, moving on, I talked about new graduates. I talked about sort of the people who are coming out of practice that are doing this. I've even given you my own experience. Let's get into the second one, which is a mid-career physician. This is someone who's probably wanting to achieve an additional amount of income. They want to maybe cut back on their regular practice. They want to explore what else is out there. Maybe they're burnt out, and this gives them reinvigoration of their medical practice. So that's another type of physician. Or maybe it's someone who has some extra expenses and they just want to augment it. They want to pay down debt. So that's the mid-career physician. And finally, we know the late career physician. These people are looking for change of pace. Maybe they're transitioning from the day-to-day. They're transitioning from their private practice to maybe one day retiring. And this is a nice way of doing it where they can practice maybe, a third of the time. And maybe they do some of locum tenens work. They do some medical missions. So they're still in medicine, but it's completely on their own terms. And the fulfillment and the joy they're receiving is unparalleled. So what are the sort of the tax benefits? Well, the tax benefits are, normally as a physician, you're a W-2 earner and there's not much you can write off. But as a 1099, normally is as an independent contractor for locums, you have some more flexibility. You can write off travel, business meals, lodging, home office, professional clothes, etc. So some of the advantages are really, you're being your own person. You can negotiate directly with these hospitals or clinics if you know them, or with an agency. You need to find out whether there's an ongoing need or a demand, or is this a one-time thing. And people ask me, hey, what is the kind of pay you could expect, right? The pay could be between 1.5 to 3x your normal salary. So it's very lucrative. And, they're asking, hey, where can these be? Sometimes they're in your local area, but sometimes there are in rural locations because that's where the need is, right? You're doing geographic arbitrage of your skill set to get the highest income for your time. But when you're away and you're doing these things, there's a lot of downtime because they're usually not as busy as an inner city or a metropolitan center. And so you have time to hike, time to pursue your passions, read books, do side hustles, hobbies, musical instruments, whatever it is that you're interested in doing. If you can sort of mitigate the issues of being time away from your family and things like that, this is really a powerful option. So what are the other challenges with locums? Well, when you go to a new location, if you're a proceduralist, there may be new instruments, new things in like the operating room or in your procedure room that you're not used to. There may be new challenges with staff, new patients, perhaps a new standard of care. So just things to be aware of. Another powerful thing is you can do this internationally. The Middle East, Abu Dhabi, Dubai has optionality for locum tenens. So, and I've mentioned my experiences in islands such as Hawaii or in the Virgin Islands. There are opportunities, Turks and Caicos. So just start exploring this, see if this is an option, and just realize that, this could be the key to unlock that thing that you're looking for, which is time and geographic freedom. Guys, until next time, keep being phenomenal.